Alright guys, today I thought I'd go ahead and talk about my full thoughts on the Xbox One. I've had it for 2 days now, so I've had plenty of time to play with it and get used to the interface and all that kind of stuff. So I thought I'd go ahead and talk about what I think. Now, before I get into the good and the bad, I would say overall I am really enjoying the system. I think it's a really awesome system. It looks nice. Like I said in the unboxing video, I think it looks great. I think it looks really great in person. I was kind of skeptical when I saw it online, but it looks really nice. Although it looks strangely like my Comcast cable box. But yeah, I really like the design of it. And yeah, also the controller. I think the controller is great. It works well. There's definitely improvement in the triggers. I think that's one of the major points of improvement. And also the D-pad. The D-pad is, instead of having like the circle with the 4 arrows on it, they just got rid of the circle and they just made basically 4 buttons. It's basically 4 buttons, but it works really nicely. Definitely a lot more precision with the new D-pad. I also like the texturing on the thumbsticks, although I kind of feel like it's a little unnecessary, but it just adds kind of like that extra coolness to it. And then, the one gripe I would have is the bumpers. I've never been a fan of the bumpers, even on the 360. They just kind of feel weird, they don't feel... They work. But yeah, everything else feels great. The 4 face buttons are fine. These buttons are... They went ahead and changed the names of them. I don't remember exactly what they are, but they seem to do the same things as start and back. So we'll have to see till later to see if they do anything different with that. And then also they got rid of the battery pack on the back, which I never thought was a problem. I thought it made it really easy to switch battery packs out. But I mean, I guess there are some people that have really big hands that, the battery pack got in the way for them. I never had that problem though. As you can see, probably, I went ahead and got a charging station for the Xbox One controllers. So I've got that. So yeah, overall the controller is really nice. And then also the impulse triggers, they put little motors in the triggers, which the only game I have right now is Dead Rising 3, and it used it a little bit, but not too much. I was kind of surprised when they did use it though. It seemed kind of like an odd place. It kind of felt like a gimmick, because it was kind of an odd way to use it. But yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with that in the future. So overall, really nice controller. And then also this button here, it looks like just like a touch sensor, like the power button on the 360 Slim and the Xbox One. But it's actually a real button. You actually press it, which was kind of a bummer because I thought it would just be like flat and then it's like a touch sensor. But still, really nice controller. It looks really sleek. And it really does the job well. Alright, so design, overall really nice. But probably the main thing you've been hearing about is the interface. Now, I personally like the interface. I think it works really well. It's simple. There's a lot less clutter on it than there is, I think, on the 360. But, overall I think it looks great, and for me it works great. But that's where one of the main problems comes in. It's basically designed with the Kinect in mind. There are some things you cannot get to at all in this interface without using the Kinect. Mainly the settings. And, not that you go into the settings that often, but it would just be nice to be able to access the settings from the console using a controller. But you actually have to use a voice command to even get to it. So I thought that was a little odd. I hope they fix that. And yeah. And then also signing in. I think this is one of the coolest things about the Xbox One. But again, it requires the Kinect. You can sign in without, but you actually have to go up here and go through kind of like a menu. So it's pretty clunky without the Kinect. But you probably heard about being able to walk in front of the Kinect and have it instantly recognize you. And that's really what it does. I mean, it seriously works. I would say, well, at least for me, it works 100% of the time. I've probably signed in 9 or 10 times. It's instantly recognized me every single time. So I think that's a great feature. I think it cuts down a lot of the time, booting up and everything. And, especially on the 360, I felt like it kind of took me a while. Because especially, my friends would come over, they'd download their accounts on. I'd have to scroll through all their accounts and get to mine, which isn't a big problem at all, but it was just kind of tedious. So I really like what they did here. But once again, it just makes it harder for the people who don't want to use the Kinect. But for me, I have no problem with that. I like the Kinect. I think it's a great part of the system. So that's the interface. And then one other thing I noticed, I only have one game, like I said, and before I could play it, I had to download a certain amount of data to the hard drive. Now, I've heard a lot of people say it takes upwards to like 30 or 40 minutes. I honestly don't know because I was talking to my friend at the time, and so I wasn't really keeping track of the time. I just kind of waited for a while. So I don't know how long it took exactly for me, but I can say it did take probably at least 5 or 10 minutes. So that's a little bit of a bummer. Yeah, so that's just kind of an odd thing. It seems like a lot of data to be getting downloaded. And then probably my only other gripe with the system right now is data management. There is no way to manage your storage on the Xbox One right now. And I hope they fix this, because I could see in the future, especially with having to download parts of your game to the hard drive, it'll probably fill up pretty quickly. And with no way to control the storage, I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if the Xbox will, delete the game you've played the least, or, I don't know how it's going to work. But with only one game, I mean, I've barely used any of my hard drive space, so I'm good right now. But hopefully they just make a patch for that so you can delete what you want to delete. Or just add external storage options. So yeah, that's a little iffy part. But overall, I like the design of the interface, and I think it works really well. And then I got one game, Dead Rising 3. The graphics look great. Even though Dead Rising has not been all about graphics, I think it looks really nice. I would say, it doesn't look nearly as good as I thought it would, but it still looks pretty nice. And I'm pretty impressed, especially for being a launch game for the Xbox One. I mean, if you go back and search up launch games for the 360, they look like slightly better original Xbox games. So, it's kind of the same thing here. I'm sure that once developers get used to the system and how it works, they'll be able to, optimize the games a little bit more. But gameplay, it plays just like Dead Rising 2. The story, I think, is a lot better. Although I like the addition of being able to drive around with cars and stuff. I mean, they sort of had that in Dead Rising 2, but you were pretty restricted. And so I like the big open city in this one. And overall, I would say it's pretty fun. Worth $60, I don't know. But if you're a Dead Rising fan, you'll know what to expect, and they definitely deliver. Yeah, it's pretty fun. And then also, one last cool thing about the system in general, with codes, especially on the 360, it was really tedious to plug in codes, and they've gone ahead and fixed that. Although it's still a 25-digit code, if you have your Kinect plugged in, all you have to do is say Xbox, redeem a code, and then you just hold this QR code in front of the Kinect, and it'll know what to download. And yeah, so I think that's a great feature. I think that's really great, because having to go through the menus and redeem a code that's 25 digits long was definitely not fun, and it definitely wasn't convenient at all. So I think that's a great thing they've done there. But yeah, really enjoying the system in general, and I hope to be able to do a couple more reviews, get a couple games soon. So yeah, guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching as always. Tell me what you think about the Xbox One in the comments below. Thanks for watching.